안녕하세요, 아울입니다. 자, 헬블레이드 저번에 이어서 하도록 할게요. 안녕하세요, 피르님, 마카롱님 안녕하세요. 왜 로딩이 늦지? 최종이라서 그런가? 자, 갑시다. 눈앞에 보이는 저 괴물을 잡으러 갑시다. 덤벼! 여기서 또 전투하겠네요. 가운데 동그란 곳에서. 죄송해요. 소리 질러서. 너무 무섭게 생겼어. 죄송해요. 화이팅. 아버지를 죽이러 갑시다. 아, 이놈의. 잠깐만, 죽었다 이거. 잠깐만. 잠깐만, 도망쳐. 잠깐만. 이거 끝나긴 할까요, 싸움? 잠깐만. 와, 이거 어떡해? 와, 애들 다 나왔다, 진짜. 죽은 거 아니에요, 이 정도면? 끝났나? 달려가서 아파. 그러니까 이게 얘네들이 피통은 작은데 머릿수가 많네. 와, 잠깐만. 달려.
See through your darkness. You're a liar and a murderer. And if you really are Hela, then I have a sword here that can kill a god.
자, 아빠 잡으러 갑시다. 안녕하세요. 컨트롤러 지금 연결돼 있는데 제 컨트롤러를 잘 못 써가지고.
오늘부터 10월까지 못 올 것 같아요. 중요한 시험이 9월에 있어서 합격 코페아에서 인사하러 왔어요.
와, 조심해님 시험 잘 봐요.
The plague of darkness.
시험 준비
the butchery of the
잘하세요.
by the Northmen. You saw it yourself.
You told everyone else.
합격하면 꼭 돌아올게요. 기념으로 아울이는 우주에서 제일 예쁘다.
아 고마워요.
I believed you.
Tell me, Senua, where is Ilian's soul if the darkness is alive? Found safe.
조신매님 시험지 싸버려요.
He's here.
세뇌 다녀신 조신매님 화이팅. 2,000원 선물 감사합니다.
I know you're here. Hold on. I'll find you.
뭐야 얘 발에 불이 나고 있어요. 뭐야 이거? 포커싱 해야 될 것 같이 생겼는데 지금 포커싱이 없거든요?
Behind you.
됐다 생겼다. 포커싱 썼는데도 안 죽어요. 여러 마리구나. 이거 아까 싸웠던 그 괴물. 엉덩이가 약점이었던 것 같은데. 세네맨이랑 시험 잘 봐요, 초신매님. 진짜 보스몹 대잔치네. 지금까지 나왔던 거 다 우려먹고 있죠? 아! 떨어져.
Dillian! Where is he? You're trying to trick me again
뭐야,
with your
이거?
lies. I know he's here.
얼굴을 흔들고
You
있어.
took him from me. You have him.
Ilian's gone.
무서워. 너무 무서워. 이제 최종 보스네요.
Or what? What can he do to me that you haven't already? Fight me. Come on. Watch out.
You betrayed your own father.
Behind
You
you.
betrayed the gods in search of Ilian.
Watch out.
In search of love. Look where that's
와,
got
쉴 틈이 없다, 진짜.
Let go of the battle.
쉴 틈이
Let go
없다.
of redemption. Let go of Ilian. Don't let your darkness hurt anyone else.
Behind you.
이거 다음 게임은 오늘 엔딩 볼 것 같아서 하는 말인데 이거 다음 게임은 마리오와 레비드예요. 마리오 레비드 제목을 정확히 모르는데 하여튼 마리오와 레비드예요. 닌텐도 스위치 게임이고요. 우와.
Behind you.
아! 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 아, 마리오와 레비드 킹덤 배틀. 아, 감사합니다. 이날님 모르는 게 없어. 아빠는 칼에 안 썰리네요? 이 잡몹을 다 잡아야 하나봐요. 와, 진짜 이거 무슨 젤다 무쌍도 아니고. 와, 진짜 끝도 젤다 무쌍이야. 이게 뭐야. 와. 아! 제가 초반에 그 한 판 더 해보진 않았는데 초반 영상을 좀 보니까 재밌어 보이더라고요. 스토리도 괜찮은 것 같고.
Behind you.
요주도 진짜 안 죽는다. 세누아도. 죽어. 맞아, 난이도를 쉬움으로 해놔서 안 죽는 것 같아요. 와, 좀 죽어. 애들이 쉬움이라 그런가 가만히 서 있어줘. 지금 포커싱 모드라 그런 것도 있지만 가만히 서 있어줘요. 아, 이 하얀 색깔이 제일 날뛰어. 제일 문제야, 이 하얀색이.
Watch out. Behind you. Behind you.
아! 불을 공간도 없어 보이는데 잘 굴러다니죠?
Watch out.
나 맞으면 안 돼, 이제. 아, 나 잠깐만. 어떡해. 이번에 진짜 죽었다.
You've done enough.
안 돼.
Careful, Sam.
와, 잠깐만.
Careful.
와, 구르지도 않아.
You're killing yourself.
어딨어? 달려. 지금 몇 분째 싸우고 있나요, 저?
Watch out. Behind you. Be careful, Senua.
망했다. DLC 새로 나왔다던데. DLC 사야 되나?
Stop. You're killing yourself. Careful, Senua.
일단은 본판 해보고 좀 재밌으면
Behind you.
그때 DLC를 사도록
Going to die.
할게요.
Behind you.
따샷. 아, 방송 시작한 지 12분 됐어요? 한 30분 된 것 같은데. 한 그럼 10분은 싸웠단 소리네요?
Be careful, Senua. Watch out. Watch out.
저 아빠는 관전을 엄청나게 하네. 관전을 즐기는 사람인가봐. 지금 죽으면 아까워요. 맞아요. 죽을 수 없어요. 쉬움이기 때문에 제가 실수만 안 하면 깰 수 있어요. 무난하게. 아마도. 오씨. 땅 흔들리는 거 진짜 짜증나네요. 아, 이 하얀 색깔 진짜. 하얀색 축. 하얀색 도끼. 다시야.
Watch out. Watch out.
와.
Let go, Senua.
안돼. 일어나 세누아 일어나.
You're going to die. Behind you.
사스케님 안녕하세요. 아니 나는 흔들리는데 얘네는 안 흔들리는 거야.
Behind you. Be careful, Senua.
손가락 아플려 그래. 근데 레비드가 오길기를 조금 쓴 게 있어가지고 사용한 게 있어가지고 좀 정은 안 가네요. 아 나 죽어. 나 죽었어요.
Go up, careful, Senua.
죽었어. 죽는 게 엔딩인가 보네. 아. 손 아파. 이럴 줄 알았으면 그냥 빨리 죽을걸. 추천 감사합니다, 여러분. 추천 감사합니다. 아, 이길 수도 있어요? 엔딩이 두 가지 되나 보다. 이길 수도 있을 것 같은데. 그러니까요.
You're alive. And there's no doubt. But you never took him from me, did you? And I can't save doing it. Is that what you want me to believe? After all you've done to me? And to him? You're not a lie, but you're a liar! You crawled into me to confuse me and deceive me. But I know he's here. I know you have him. I'll give you my life. That's what you want, isn't it? My soul. Take it. I'll be a slave for you. I'll fight with you at Ragnarok. If you release it.
아, 죽는 게 클리어 조건이었어요? 빨리 죽었어야 됐네. 괜히 버틴다고 까불었네. 아, 쿠키 한 개 감사합니다. 점심으로 쿠키 어때요? 아, 쿠키 좋아요. 쿠키 감사합니다. 되게 공들인 티가 나요. 게임이.
No power over me.
깜짝이야. 헐. 뭐야? 다녀오세요, 민규님. 이따 봐요.
I learned the hard way to not be afraid of death.
남편.
Because a life without loss is one without love. You turn your back on death, and all you can see is the shadow that it casts. The longer you hide from it, the longer the shadow grows until all you can see is darkness. When our time comes, you must look death in the eye and embrace it as a friend. Only then can we let go of our fear. And emerge from our darkness.
불쌍해.
Never forget what it is like to see the world as a child, Senua. Every autumn leaf is like a work of art. Every rolling cloud a moving picture. Every day a new story. We too emerge from this magic, like a wave from the ocean, only to return to the sea.
결국 남편을 놓아주나 봐요. 어떡해, 너무 슬픈 것 같아. 야옹이파님 안녕하세요.
Do not mourn the waves, the leaves, and the clouds. Even in darkness, the wonder and the beauty of this world never leaves us. It is always there, waiting to be seen again.
울지도 않고 씩씩하네요. 네, 벌써 엔딩이에요.
This is where my story once began. And so it has to end here. Because I cannot see further than this.
엔딩 보고 영상 하나 더 볼 거예요.
Story to tell. My friend. Go with her. This now will be your story to witness.
눈을 왜 그렇게 뜨냐고.
Goodbye.
자, 이렇게 끝났네요.
I know it's hard to tell how mixed up you feel. Hoping what you need is behind every
이렇게
door.
크레딧 올라갔죠?
Each time you get hurt, I don't want you to change. 'Cause everyone has
헬라라고 북유럽 신화의 지옥을 관장하는 여신. 아, 여신 이름이구나.
where someone else feeling as though you never
아, 네, 마리오 턴제 게임이에요.
this feeling is
헬라
this feeling is not
조승의 여신 같은 게 된 걸로 알아요. 어? 그럼 세누아가 저승의 여신이란 소리예요? 아닌가?
please don't go. I want you to stay. I'm begging you please. Please
아, 헬이라고 불러도 무방이야? 아. 근데 오늘은 마리오 게임 못하고 일단 썸네일도 없고 되게 준비가 안 돼가지고 일단 마리오 게임 못하고 포켓몬고? 아, 네, 연도 샀어요. 연도? 연도 맞나? 웬 연도? 갑자기요? 아, 포켓몬 아니야! 야옹이파님 아니야! 연도, 아, 연도 안 샀어요. 연도 안 할 거고 연도는 안 할 거예요. 보니까 엔딩도 없고 게임이 그래서 연도는 안 할 거예요. 그래서 워포 할 거예요. 8시에 8시 방송 엔딩 봤잖아요. 그거 기차 끄는 게임. 그래서 다음 게임은 워포 할 거고요. 1시 방송은 이제 월요일부터, 오늘 금요일인가요? 아, 토요일부터 그거 할 거예요. 레비드, 마리오 더하기 레비드. 정가 받으면 사지 마요. 네, 워포라는 그냥 귀여운 게임이에요. 8시 방송은 뭔가 귀여운 게임 하고 싶어요. 좀 뭔가 스토리 짧고 게임성 좋은. 그리고 1시 방송은, 그러니까 1시 방송 3D 게임 하고 싶고 8시 방송은 2D 게임 하고 싶어요. 그래서 2D 게임 골랐어요. 8시 방송. 스토리에 치중하느라고 전투가 밋밋한 게, 그니까요. 맞아, 전투가 좀 밋밋했어요. 그냥 여느 다른 게임의 파밍을 위한 몹 사냥하는 모습 같다고 해야 되나? 그쵸, 허용범위네죠. 맞아요, 마카롱님. 그래서 지금은 영상 하나 더 볼 건데 키가 아무것도 안 먹히고 크레딧 다 끝까지 봐야지. 아, 내릴 수 있구나. 휠 굴리면 내려가는구나. 다크소울 안 할 거야. 다크소울 안 할 거야. 평생 안 할 거야, 다크소울. 여자 주인공이 정신병을 앓고 있어서 그래요. 아니, 화면이 까만데, 아니, 키가 아무것도 안 먹혀요. 자, 오늘 잠깐만요. 방종하면 안 돼요. 전 게임 껐다가 다시 킬게요. 게임 껐다가 다시 킬게요. 영상 하나 봐야 되는데 막 게임 멈춰가지고. 키는 모습은 처음 보자. 항상 키고 나서 방송을 켜갖고. 자, 특전 영상 보도록 할게요.
Stormy seas and lost souls.
Who is it?
She's dreamt of this before.
It's coming. Is it?
They say dreams are visions of our memories.
자막이 안 나오네.
As seen by our inner eye.
아빠 모습 처음 봤을 때.
What if each one of us is always dreaming, even when awake?
기다려봐요. 오케이.
And we only see what our inner eye creates for us.
이거 끝나면 뭐 다른 거 해야겠죠?
A world shaped by Senua's nightmares.
저거 아빠 아니라고요? 저게 헬이에요?
Maybe that's
저게
why people
헬라예요?
fear seeing the world through our eyes.
아, 나 저게
Because if you
아빠인 줄
believe that
알았어.
Senua's reality is twisted, you must accept that yours.
내적 자아는 그 괴물 아니에요? 네 발로 그 네 발로 기어다니고 꼬리 달린 그 괴물 아니에요? 내적 자아는?
Hellblade: Senua's Sacrifice is a video game about Senua, a Celtic warrior on a vision quest into Viking territory. But what sets our hero Senua apart is that she suffers from severe psychotic mental illness.
악마님 안녕하세요.
He knows she's getting closer. He can feel her coming closer. She's getting closer. They're watching.
The original idea for Hellblade was to create a classic hero's journey, a journey of suffering, but one where the fantasy world is not another planet or alternate universe, but a world that is constructed in Senua's mind. But to do so would mean putting psychotic mental illness at the center of the experience, a subject that is still considered taboo, and a challenge that was both terrifying and exciting in equal measure. In Hellblade, the starting point was a newly discovered Celtic goddess called Senuna in Ashwell, Hertfordshire. When first discovered, her name was thought to be Senua, a name which I liked and kept. I wondered if Senua might have been a Celtic warrior like Boudica, who stood up to the Romans. While the Romans had conquered all of Europe, there was a group of Celts up in the furthest reaches of the Roman Empire that could not be conquered.
다큐 보시죠, 여러분.
And so the Romans built a wall, called Hadrian's Wall, that spans across
전투 화장
Britain from
있어도
sea to sea
예쁘던데.
to keep the Pictish barbarians at bay. The Picts were known for their war paint, painted on with woad, and their matted hair clumped with lime. and so Senua would be a
머리를 석회로
barbarian picked from
따왔구나.
this image.
What's your name?
Senua,
I haven't seen you before.
I don't live home much.
Oh, Zeno's daughter.
I have to go.
Wait.
Orkney is off the coast of Scotland and was inhabited by the Picts, steeped in history and mystery, and so I made Orkney Senua's home and set the stage
저
for a
돌
crisis.
비석. 퍼즐 비석.
In the late 8th century, the first Vikings landed on the Orkney Islands. The population of the Picts crashed thereafter, replaced by the Norsemen of the 9th century. Were they wiped out? We don't know for sure, but it would seem likely given the reputation of the Vikings. The Northmen's brutality is legendary. High-ranking leaders and chieftains of the tribes they conquered were often offered as sacrifice to their gods. The most brutal of these sacrifices was known as the Blood Eagle.
족장을 제물로
I
바쳤대.
imagine Senua as a young female warrior who returns home from exile to find her partner, Dillion, brutally sacrificed to a Norse god by
아,
these
족장의
hellish warriors
아들이라서
from a faraway land.
바쳐졌구나.
I imagine the horror of this moment and how it would have dragged her deep into mental torment.
No!
I came to learn that the Celts had a sophisticated and nuanced perspective on the nature of mental disorder. One term they used was Gelt. A Gelt is a man or woman who has been driven mad by a curse, battle trauma, or grief. The Gelt would take to a life in the woods in search of penance, punishment, and purgation. And so Senua became a Gelt, cursed by darkness, looking for redemption in the wilds.
겔트가 뭐지?
Another word the Celts used in reference to
헐,
mental
진짜
disorders was
분장한
truth,
거였어.
meaning fool, or one who utters the words of God. They tell of the mad sinner who flees battle
뭐지?
into exile and takes on a beastly nature, growing feathers on his body. The character called Ruth in Hellblade is based on a little-known person called Findan, an 8th century Irish Celt who was captured and enslaved by the Vikings, but eventually escaped to Orkney where he became a monk.
I will tell you my stories of hell, if I may walk with you.
Upon meeting Senua, it would be his stories that fuel her quest
와,
deep into their world
대단하다
of
진짜.
gods.
The Northmen say the world will come to an end. The sun will grow black, the earth
이렇게
will
만든
sink into
거구나.
the sea, the stars will disappear, fire and water will meet, flames will play against the sky, the heavens and earth and all the world will be burned, all the gods will be dead, and the warriors of Valhalla and people everywhere. Senua, prepare yourself for Ragnarok, for it is nigh.
So the stage was set
Senua.
for a new adventure, a journey into the Norse underworld called Hell, a vision quest fueled by madness and myth, a fantasy that was created by Senua's own mind, and one that we would experience through her eyes.
This is your mission. This is your quest. There is nothing else left.
To make a game about a warrior with
예쁘다.
psychotic mental illness as its central theme was fraught with danger. Mental illness such as psychosis is still taboo and rarely acknowledged in a century of cinema, never mind the new medium of games. Where it does feature, it often conflates psychosis and psychopathy associated with a lack of empathy. It is unfortunate that these two words sound so similar that they are used interchangeably in media. I must admit that I didn't have to look very far to discover my own ignorance of the subject. So we reached out to Paul Fletcher, psychiatrist and professor of health neuroscience at University of Cambridge.
Psychosis is a descriptive term, and it refers to
진짜요?
having a loss of contact with
비셔스님 그거
objective reality.
뻥이에요?
So it's characterized by two
나도
main
믿었는데.
sets of symptoms. One of them is hallucinations, where somebody experiences perceptions when there is no actual objective thing out there to perceive.
Who are you?
And the other is delusions, where somebody comes to very often bizarre, unpleasant, frightening beliefs when there's no good
진짜
evidence
뻥이에요?
in favour of them.
세상에.
the source.
안 죽으려고 엄청 발악을 했는데.
And the goddess Hela holds his soul there.
We reached out to
이런
Welcome, a biomedical
속았잖아.
research charity that spends billions on research and awareness programs aimed at improving health.
Mental health hasn't always been presented in the media in a way that is particularly helpful. It can be challenging to engage people with the subject matter, and there are a lot of preconceived ideas about mental health, and particularly schizophrenia and psychosis. So we hope our support allows the team to continue to collaborate with Paul Fletcher and with those who have experience of psychosis to create a game that provides a fresh perspective on the condition and allows audiences to engage with it in a way that just wouldn't be possible in any other medium.
What started out as a brief consultation convinced me that we were only scratching the surface of an immensely deep and interesting subject that could enrich and change the very nature of the game.
That's cool. Thanks so much for coming here. Pleasure. Thanks. It's really interesting for me. I'd love to be involved. It's fascinating.
Our understanding of psychosis is still very much a mystery, and ways of treating it are still primitive compared to physical illness. After all, it is easy to see the pain and suffering caused by physical diseases or physical trauma. It is not so easy to see the mental suffering and trauma of severe mental illness. But what if we could find a way to see it? Games are capable of drawing you in for hours on end, playing the role of a character who is different from you, experiencing their perspective, and actively involving you in a world that functions with a different set of rules. If we were to represent Senua's psychosis, we would have to simulate voice hearing, a common attribute. But how can we simulate something we have no first-hand experience of? Professor Charles Fernyhough, a leading expert in voice hearing from Durham University, offered his help.
Hearing voices is an experience that is usually associated with severe mental illness, and crucially we know that hearing voices is a part of ordinary life for many people who don't meet the criteria for mental illness.
Yeah. Oh, that's not him in real life.
We know voices vary according to where they appear in space. Voices can appear far away in the distance, they can appear right there in your ear, they can seem to be coming from inside your head.
저렇게
Based on the
녹음했구나.
information Professor Fernyhough provided, I put together a sound brief
사람들
and invited some
목소리였어요.
actors to the studio. We recorded the actors using a binaural microphone, which records the 3D spatial position of sound, replicating the way sound is heard by
와,
human ears.
신기하다.
It gives you an incredible sense that the person you are listening to is right there beside you.
대박.
Rachel Waddingham from the Voice Collective came to our studio with 2 young voice hearers to speak to our team. We talked at length about their experiences, and they listened to our tests, giving us feedback on how we could improve on it.
Everyone hates her. She's cursed.
It's very hard to represent
진짜
what this
귀에다 대고
experience is
말하는 것
like,
같았는데.
partly because it's such a personal, intense, emotional experience. It's testament to how Ninja Theory have been listening to what the researchers are saying, but also crucially listening to the experts by experience. What they've come up with is so compelling. It's by far the best representation I've heard of what these experiences are like.
ASMR용으로 쓰이는 기계예요?
Other common attributes of psychosis are visions and flashbacks. We met with Recovery College East, who work with and care for people recovering from severe mental disorders. A group of service users gave us their first-hand account of what they experience.
Sometimes
손톱
the
예쁘다.
visions or what we're seeing is too much. It becomes more difficult until eventually we don't see anything.
The people we spoke to, the stories they told, were fascinating, harrowing and mind-boggling. The reality of what people experience was vivid, far exceeding what I could possibly have imagined. We went away itching to represent some of these visions and flashbacks in the game.
콤보가 25개 있어요? 제가 잘 못 다룬 거였네요. 뭔가 아깝다, 게임이.
Now I see deep in me insanity does unfold. I just wanna feel deeper, deeper. I just wanna feel deeper, deeper.
guess we'll know my heart is so love is so far away. Don't you know how I wanna feel deeper? I could never know how you grow. All these days are killing me. Feel like this, read like this. I just wanna live, that's all. I just wanna feel.
맞아, 퍼즐 풀 때 쓸데없는 거 의미 부여하면서 맞아 집착했어요.
I just wanna feel deeper, deeper.
점수 높다.
To refine our work, we continue to hold meetings with Recovery College East over the course of a year and a half, showing them what we had achieved so far and refining the in-game representation
전투를 쉬운 모드로 해놔가지고
With their help, flashbacks, visions and changes in perception were woven into the story and gameplay of Senua.
The students that are involved in this project are incredibly excited about being involved. They have described the experience as being important because it values their lived experience and shows that despite what we have been through, all of that experience becomes valid, that actually it's something that we should all be talking about.
The experiences described range from beautiful to frightening beyond comprehension. I heard of a girl who has to live with an angry voice screaming at her, slamming on her doors and walls 24 hours a day. I met someone who would often see hanging corpses in a room, so real that she would sometimes try to rescue them. The panic and fear that comes with such visions is entirely understandable, and it can be a living horror for some.
Worthless, weak, pathetic. Go on, feel sorry for yourself, because there is no one left to do that for you.
I was urged by one fellow that we should not shy away from showing this horror, and so I was perpetually torn in making Hellblade. Had we gone too far with our representations or not far enough?
Broken and lost, just like your soul.
이 장면을 왜 세 번째 보여주죠? 가장 공들이는 장면인가 봐.
In some ways, voice hearing and visions were the low-hanging fruit, so to speak. There's another aspect of psychosis that is much harder to explain.
정신병
but
종류가
one that I
워낙에
think
많기
video games are
때문에.
uniquely able to represent, which are often called
맞아요.
delusions.
세이카님 말이
People begin to see
맞아요. 저도
patterns
그렇게
in the world.
생각해요.
They begin to link things that most people wouldn't link. Most of the things that we might think would be coincidence or, you know, not worth commenting on. Nevertheless, that might have a particular salience or importance for them.
One individual described how everyday words, sounds, colours and objects were steeped in meaning to him, forming a strange and sinister puzzle that he was determined to solve but could not quite get to the bottom of.
It's not just brain dysfunction. It's not like the system shut down. It's actually an incredibly creative process. The person creates a world populated with voices and phantasms and terrors, and they're completely immersed in it. They believe in it.
We often invite people into the studio to play the game. In one of our playtests, they played through much of the game, making associations between runes, secret messages, and the threat of darkness that stalked them. There are many things that happen in the world of Hellblade that make perfect sense within the context of Senua's mind. The dark rot that's killing her slowly from within, the secret runes of the gods that block her path to Helheim, and strange associations that exist in the game to confuse you. To complete Senua's quest, you have to internalize and accept the logic and meaning behind these things to progress. Afterwards they said that they didn't see much evidence of mental illness in the game. People with delusions of all sorts would argue the same thing, that they are not aware of their experience being abnormal in any way.
I need this sword. It's important.
Representing perception changes
진짜
and thinking
치료가
patterns
될까
within
의문이
Hellblade
들기도
gives us
하고요.
a set of symptoms common in psychosis. But people with lived experience were keen to emphasize another point, that it is wrong to define a person by their symptoms. Quite often, the illness comes not from the symptoms, but from the stigma, isolation and mistreatment that comes about from the rest of society.
They say that I'm cursed. What if they're right?
I needed someone to portray Senua, someone who could believably internalize her suffering. Melina Jurgens, our video editor, had been a stand-in for Senua over a few months while we perfected our motion capture techniques. Without realizing it, she had already auditioned for the role. and I knew her well enough to know that I didn't have to teach her to act, but to relive her own internal pain. As often is the case, those who have suffered mental anguish are never far from us.
와, 연기 진짜
is that
잘해.
by creating a compelling and aspirational character in Senua who feels very much real, albeit in a fantasy setting, we can provide a lens into her reality, a different one to yours, and this is where storytelling comes into play. I imagined her life based on common threads in real people's lives. She was always prone to psychosis as a child. Her mother Galina also heard voices and had visions, so perhaps there was a genetic aspect. Or perhaps it was cultural, as she lived within a world without science, of gods and a superstition, as exemplified by her druid father Zimbal.
치료약이
Psychosis
아니구나.
developed in her
진통제
late
같은
teens to
거네요,
early
그러면?
20s and was exacerbated by stigma and isolation at the hands of the clansmen and her father.
This darkness. It's spreading.
The trauma of seeing her lover Dillian sacrificed tips her over the edge, making her remodel her reality around a concept that connects everything: the darkness. So the question is, what Senua experiences real? Can only be answered by saying, yes, it is real. It is her reality.
All of her suffering will have been for nothing. It's just a matter of time.
Towards the end of the project, service users and professionals that had collaborated with us were invited to see the near-final game. It was a chance to see if the game had reflected their views or if it had misrepresented them.
For me, being involved in especially developing Senua's character has been really important, and being able to bring in my perspective and what I see and what I hear, and having that built into the game has been a real privilege. It's gritty and it's meaty, and there are some tough subjects in there that are being tackled with honesty.
예쁘다.
I was blown away by it today, absolutely blown away. It was just fantastic to get the opportunity to use our lived experience in a very creative way. There's nothing tokenistic about the work we've put in. It feels like we've been listened to, things have been taken on board, and I think there was a lot of realism in the game itself.
아, 말 잘한다, 할머니.
Hellblade will give people a good experience of what it's like to hear voices and have those experiences. I'm glad that the guys at Ninja Theory kind of asked us to come along and help them build an experience that's positive when it comes out, and get myself a copy and have a go.
아, 그래서 헬라 아래에 들어가서 죽은 거예요, 마지막에? 합체하는 것처럼? 헬라 안으로 들어가서 죽더라고요.
I think all the way through I was really inspired by how the conversations have translated into the game in a way that I think I didn't imagine was possible. So wonderful, really wonderful.
I really hope that others will follow the lead they've set and use the power of something like a video game to change people's perceptions, to increase understanding, and ultimately to make some of the stigma around voice hearing and other experiences go away.
For me, it was really exciting to see something that I explore scientifically being represented so beautifully in a character who's trying to penetrate the mysteries of the environment in which they've been placed, with all of this strange uncertainty and noise and conflicting information that they're getting. I'm very excited by this way of trying to represent mental illness, because I think it actually might be offering us insights that we wouldn't get from pure scientific explorations, and
얼굴에
actually giving
흉터요?
us quite an empathic view of what it might be like.
Mental illness has been with us for as long as we have been on this planet, but why? Why hasn't evolution stamped out this weakness from within our gene pool? I often pondered this question until I realized that the question had an inbuilt flaw. It assumes that being and thinking differently is a weakness. The only reason we have computers, spacecraft, medicine, poetry, art, and yes, even video games is because individuals are able to simulate new abstract realities in their minds and share them with the rest of us. We need people to be willing to see differently in order for us to progress and survive as society. And we need to be open to these new ways of seeing. And it is this spirit that motivated me to create Senua's story and share it with you.
맞아, 이런 게임들은 사람들의 해석하기에 따라 감상이 다 달라지기 때문에 더 재미있죠. 맞아요, 맞아요. 자, 이렇게 영상, 특전 영상도 다 봤고요. 오늘 헬블레이드 방송 여기까지 하고 종료하도록 하겠습니다. 방송하겠습니다. 감사합니다.